We're now in public session. We have one apology, I believe, from Paul. Is Paul Gavin? Paul Donnelly?
No apologies.
We have, I think it's Deputy Paul Donnelly, I think. Before we commence, may I remind members participating remotely that they must do so from within the precincts of Leinster House. Today we are reconvening to continue our discussion on the recently published report of the Commission on Pensions. We're all very aware that the state pension is valued by all of society and it's the bedrock of the pension system in Ireland. It's extremely effective at preventing pensioners from falling into poverty, and we want to make sure that this stays the case into the future. The Pensions Commission, chaired by Josephine Feely, was an independent body made up of pension experts, academics and workers' representative groups. As you are aware, the committee made its own submission to the Commission with 18 specific recommendations. The Commission has now completed its work and a comprehensive report was published in October. This report has stated that the current state pension is not sustainable in its current form and changes are needed. The population, as we know, is set to increase from 5 million currently to over 6 million by 2050. And that is something that we need to plan for in order to ensure that older people have an adequate pension and a safety net to keep them out of poverty. There will also be fewer working age people supporting each older person. Currently 4.5 working age people are supporting each person over the age of 65, but this is set to have to 2.3 working age people per person over the age of 65 by 2051. But it's also important to note that the proportion of older people in receipt of a fully exchequer-funded, non-contributory state pension is decreasing steadily and will continue to do so. Eventually, everybody will have paid some entitlement to a state contributory pension into the future. So there are clear challenges in ensuring the sustainability of the state pension for future generations. And this has been known for many years and confirmed by the report of the Commission on Pensions. The Government has asked this committee for our views on the recommendations in that report, and this follows on from the committee's remit and, as I say, our recent submission to the Commission. In that regard, I welcome here this morning Ms Josephine Feely, Chairperson of the Pensions Commission, Ms Roma Burke, Chairperson of the Technical Subgroup to the Pensions Commission, Mr Tim Duggan, Assistant Secretary of the Department of Social Protection, and Mr Alan Flynn, Principal Officer of the Department of Social Protection. You're all very welcome here this morning. Before we commence, and in terms of privilege, witnesses are reminded of the long-standing parliamentary practice that they should not criticise or make charges against any person or entity by name or in such a way to make him or her or it identifiable, or otherwise engage in speech that might be regarded as damaging to the good name of the person or entity. Therefore, if your statements are potentially defamatory in relation to an identifiable person or entity, you will be directed to discontinue your remarks. It's imperative that you comply with any such direction. Witnesses are reminded that full parliamentary privilege applies to those participating within the precincts of Leinster House, and those witnesses participating remotely should exercise caution in terms of their utterances accordingly and be attentive to the direction of the Chair in this regard. Members are reminded of the long-standing parliamentary practice to the effect that they should not comment on, criticise or make charges against a person outside the Houses or an official either by name or in such a way to make him or her identifiable. I now call on Mr Tim Duggan to make his opening remarks, which will be followed then by a presentation to the committee by Ms Josephine Feely.